I called an attorney friend of mine that I knew pretty well. He's in criminal law, so he referred me to Jim. And I immediately called Jim, and what was surprising is he accepted a collect call. So that was even more surprising. It was like, wow, he actually accepted the call. So he sent someone down to interview me, and I told him the particulars of the case. And again, surprise and behold, he said, sure, I'll take the case, because I think it was two other gentlemen that had called other attorneys, one from the D.C. area, another one from Charlottesville, and they didn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. So I really appreciated Jim's tenacity in this situation, because he didn't have no qualms at all about going up against a government entity. So I really appreciated that more than anything else. When he sent the intern to do the interview, they were patient. They listened to everything, even the rambling, because we have a tendency to ramble when you're upset and you're really uncomfortable in the situation you're in, and then you're being mistreated on top of that. So they went through a little being a psychologist slash attorney. So I really appreciated that. That made me feel a little bit more comfortable with working with the firm here. Although we were incarcerated at the time, they didn't treat us like as if we were any different than any of the client. I mean, they answered our calls every time we called, answered any questions we had. They were there to check and make sure we were all right. They did everything promptly. I mean, it wasn't no lag time. Well, we'll contact you, never hear from them for 2 or 3 weeks. It was none of that. You know, they were in contact with us constantly until they got everything they needed to proceed with the case. So I think Jim talked to them, the opposing parties. I don't want to say professionally. I think they intermingled really well with them to get them to understand that not only that we were injured in an accident, but we were also under disability when this accident occurred. We couldn't help ourselves. We couldn't put our hands down. We couldn't cover ourselves. We were defenseless, basically. And I think him showing that empathy gave everybody else the inclination to say, okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, you put a bunch of people in this situation. Hey, let's all jump in here and try to make it right. You know, so, I mean, it was like a family environment, basically. So it was kind of cool.